All right, welcome back. You are here for one of your weekly videos. It's going to be about a 30-minute workout today. Let's get started. Hands right under your shoulders, knees right under your hips. Starting with some deep breaths here. Inhaling to drop your belly, reach your chest forward, open up the front of the neck, and then exhale to tuck the tail, push into the floor, and tuck the chin, rounding the spine. Inhale, dropping the belly, flowing into that open chest position. Exhale, rounding the spine, tucking the tail, and pushing the floor away. Continuing to flow here through the body. Using your breath as you move. Holding it in either position if it feels comfortable to do so. And then once you've found that flow, we're going to be starting by tucking your toes here. So tucking those toes, sitting back onto the feet a little bit for a gentle stretch. Nice full breaths. Relaxing the shoulders, the head, and the neck. And you can either stay sitting here. If that's not comfortable, bring the hands down to the floor. And if you want to stay in the stretch, you're welcome to. Or to find some movement here, we're going to rock back, taking your hips towards the floor, rounding the spine, and looking between the legs, and then slowly placing your knees right back down to the floor. So we're going from our toe stretch just into a nice low squat, rolling through the feet and the ankles, the knees, and the hips. If this isn't comfortable, feel free to come back to the stretch or back to your cat-cows. And last time, rocking back to the toes, rocking forward. And then from here, you can stay where you are. I'm going to turn so you have a better angle of me. I want you to turn your hands so that your fingertips are pointing in towards each other. And now you're going to rock a little bit from side to side. And as you do this, if it feels like it's too much weight in the wrists, I want you to bring your knees a little closer to your hands to take some weight out of it. Just stretching the wrist here. And then pause for a moment, turn your hands the other way, fingertips pointing out to the sides. And if that's comfortable, turn it so your fingertips are pointing back towards the fireplace, and just continue to rock from side to side here. If it's comfortable, maybe rock a little bit forward and a little bit back. And then come back to center. Wonderful. Stay where you are, but come up to a high kneeling position now. So you got your knees under you, hips over top, and shoulders stacked. Reach your arms forward. And from here, we're going to start by hinging at the knees. So your whole body's going to stay still. You're going to lean back with just the knees themselves. And then you're going to slowly bring your body right back up to the top. Now, when you do this, it's not about how far you lean back. Focus on keeping your shins heavy. You press your shins into the floor as you lean back, and then exhale as you come right back up. When you do this, there's no change in your lower back. We're keeping your pubic bone right underneath you as you lean back. Inhale, press your shins down to the floor, and then exhale to bring yourself back up to the top. Lean back, your shins are heavy, and then press into those shins and bring your body right back up. And as you work with this flow, hips are staying stable, your upper body is staying stable, and you're only increasing this range of motion once you can really feel that burn through the front of the legs and maintain a slow movement the whole time. Shins are staying heavy, and if you're wanting to add on a little bit, the next time that you lean back a little, we're lifting up both arms overhead. Push your shins down into the floor, bring your body back up. Now, as you continue to do this motion, keep the lower body nice and stable. Make sure you're not changing your spine. And catch your breath. Inhaling, head back. Exhaling, bring it forward. Keeping your chin just slightly tilted to your heart. And then one more time, we lean back just a little bit and we hold it. Arms go up overhead and then lower the arms right back down. Inhale, lift, and lower. Keep your legs where they are. Your shins are heavily pushing into the floor. You're breathing here, 2 more reps. Inhale, arms up. Exhale them down and sit yourself all the way up. Hands back to the floor. From here, find that cat-cow. And then we're going to tuck those toes again. Hands are right under your shoulders. Knees are right under your hips. From here, lift your knees up to hover off of the floor. Lift them up and hold. Rock your body weight forward a little bit and then rock it back a little bit. Keep going just like this. If that isn't comfortable, keep your knees down and just do that same rock forward and back while keeping your spine nice and strong and your core braced. If hovering the knees is comfortable, lift up like we were and stay lifting as you rock forward as far as you can and then back as far as you can. Warming up the breath, the wrists, and the legs. Come back to center. Rest it all the way down. So again, we're always going to continue to layer up there. If it's too much weight on the wrists or the shoulders, you're going to keep just going forward and back here, strengthening up through the wrists and the upper body. You can also work with one leg up and then the other. So keep that in mind. If you're ready to add on, let's do so. We're lifting up to hover. On your exhale, lift the knees up 2 or 3 inches. Then lift your butt so it's a little higher than your shoulders. Hold it here. Inhale, look at your thumbs. Exhale, lift your hips, look to your toes, high heels, and hips up to the ceiling. Inhale, bend your knees. Hover the knees, shift your weight forward. Exhale, lift your hips, butt to the sky, high heels. And as you continue to do this, if you're looking for more of a challenge, keep your body weight forward the entire time as best you can. And last one, lift up and bring it down and rest. Stay in that position. I'm just going to turn so you have a better view here. I want you to bring your left leg straight out to your side and then slowly bring your body up to a tall kneeling position. When we're here, our goal is that our foot is down to the floor. If that's not comfortable, feel free to turn the toes out towards the side. Hands to your hips. In a perfect world, our hips are level, but this is the real world, so just get them as level as they can get comfortably. We're going to start with a side bend. Right hand by your side. Reach the left arm up and overhead. Big breath in, and then bring it back, other side. Continuing to alternate here from side to center to side. And as you bend from side to side here, let that flow come naturally, elongating through the ribs and reaching up and out of the hips. I always like to think about reaching to where the wall and ceiling meet on the side of the room. Good, and last one. and bring it down. Now go ahead, hands back under shoulders, knees back under hips, and we're going to come into a twist here. So take your left hand, thread that arm and reach it as far as you can between the right arm and leg. And then reach that arm up to the ceiling. Big breath in. Bring it back down. Reach as far as you can. And then as you lift the arm up, try to keep the hips as still as possible. The upper body is creating that rotation here. Reach up, big inhale, and thread it through. One more time. Bring it down. Same position, so your left leg is still the one out to the side, but now with the right arm, reach below the left arm and leg. And twist, reach up to the ceiling, and bring it down. Now my right arm isn't going to get quite as high because there's a little flare up going on in that shoulder. But I want you to reach that elbow up and then extend the arm and reach up towards the ceiling. Unless, of course, there's any discomfort in your shoulder, then you can do what I'm doing and working with a little chicken wing, pull that elbow up, building up that strength. One more time. And bring it down, hands back under the shoulders, knees back under hips. Let's do a little side movement here, like a cat-cow, but laterally. Look over one shoulder to the hips. Look over the other shoulder to the hips. And now let's go right leg out to the side. When you're ready, plant that foot down and slowly build up, high kneeling position. Once you're here, hands can be on your hips. Let's go left arm first. Reach that arm up and over, big inhale. Come back through the center. That arm goes down, right arm up and over. And just continue that flow here. Remembering that you're going to be reaching that arm as long as is comfortable for you. Finishing with that left side, and then bringing arm and leg right back down to the floor. Once you've got both hands down, take your breath in. We're going to reach with the right arm first. So right arm, thread it between the arm and leg, and then reach that right arm up to the sky. Remember, think of reaching up with the elbow and then reaching with the hand and twisting back. Reaching the arms to the left, and then reaching that arm up to the sky. You're keeping your hips as square to the ground as you can. And last time, reach that arm all the way up, and then bring it back down. Both hands underneath you for a moment, elongate your spine, and then take your left hand, reach it under, and reach it up. Keeping that rotation nice and strong as you reach for the sky and as you reach for the right side of the room. One more breath. And then bring it back to center. Bring the knees under you, hands under you. Find that cat-cow. Full breath here. Now you're still in that same position. Let's go right leg straight back. I want your toes to be touching down to the floor. So keeping those toes touching down, your spine is nice and long. Then take your right foot, drag it over to the left, and then look over your left shoulder back towards that foot, stretching out the right side of the hip. Big breath in. Back to center, take that knee down, left leg shoot it out. Drag left foot across the body, look over the right shoulder, stretching out the left hip. Nice big inhale here. And then bring it back to center. Once you're in at the center, we're going to turn all the way over and look to your left side with your left hip on the mat and your left ear on your pillow or blanket. If you don't have a pillow or blanket nearby, just use your left arm, so you could just lay all the way down on your arm and on your bicep, making that your pillow. Or fold your blanket or towel, or place your pillow under your head. Lots of options here. Once everything is set up, right hand is in front of you and resting. Bring your feet so that they're lined up with your spine and your butt closer to the back of your mat than the front. Then lift your feet up and just hold your feet up off of the mat. Squeeze your legs tight together and notice how, as you squeeze your inner thighs and squeeze your heels together, you start to feel your waistline getting activated and cinched. We're going to be lifting your right knee up as much as you can without this right hip falling back, and then lower that knee down. Just starting with that butterfly, lifting and lowering, but keeping both feet as high off of the floor as they can be. You can keep your right hand on your hip. And then while you're working here, you've just got your breath flowing in through the nose, out through the mouth. You're keeping your chest open. For some extra work, you squeeze your heels together. Good. One more time. Lift that leg and hold it here. Now, as you hold and squeeze those heels, flex your feet. Take a nice big inhale. And then we rest all the way down with both legs. Once your legs are resting, take that right leg, reach it all the way straight. With it straight, we're going to start to sweep that leg forward a few inches and then sweep it back a few inches. Now, as you do this, a lot of times people want to really swing their leg. That's not what we're looking for here. I want you to just go a few inches forward and a few inches back, like you're riding a slow motion scooter. That leg goes forward and then you sweep the ground back. Full breaths here. Try to keep your hips stacked. Now, one time, drag that leg back and hold it here, keeping your ankle flexed and placing your right hand on the floor in front of you. Now, lift that right leg up to the ceiling, 2 inches, a little tiny lift and lift and lift. Keep that pulse. As you lift that leg up to the ceiling, try to keep your heel higher than your toes. Keep your leg as long as it can get, pulsing that heel up and away for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring that leg down, rest that knee on top of the other knee, and then we're going to be bringing it onto your back. Turn to your back. That pillow underneath you is going to go off to the side for just a moment. Keep it nearby. And once we're on your back, we've got our elbows planted down into the ground, your feet planted as close to your butt as is comfortable, and a little bit wider than your hips today. Push down into those elbows, push down into your feet, and drive your hips up off of the ground. Inhale, bring your hips right back down. And keep that as your movement. So hips come up and hips come down. As you lift up, think about bringing your butt cheeks towards the back of your calves. Noticing how that gets the hamstrings engaged just a little bit more. Keep your arms pushing down into the floor below you, and keep your feet heavy into the floor. It's going to help you stay connected with your core and the back of your body. Good. One more time. Hips come up as high as they can. Bring them back down about halfway and just hold. Now with your hips at halfway, left hip, right hip. We're going to go left hip 1 inch higher, right hip 1 inch higher. Left hip, right hip, left hip, right hip. It's like a little dance, just one hip up a little bit, other hip up a little bit. Keep your feet heavy into the floor. Think about your lower glutes as close as they get to your hamstrings, squeezing them tight for 3, 2, and 1. Back to center, and then rest the hips all the way down. Bring one knee into your chest and then other knee into your chest. Gently round your back here. And then place your feet back down into the floor. Now we're going to do that same motion. Feet near your butt, as wide as your hips. Push the elbows down. Lift the hips up and hold. Now right now you're thinking of pulling your butt towards the back of your calves, feeling that little bit of a hamstring engagement. Inhale as you prepare. Exhale to roll down. Bring the middle of your back down to the mat. Bring the tag of your pants down to the mat. And then your tailbone down to the mat. Now lift up in a flat back. Hinge bridge, lift up. Exhale when you're ready and start to roll down. The ribs come down. Below the belly button comes down. Tag of the pants, tailbone. Exhale, hinge bridge, lift it up. Inhale to hold. Exhale, roll down. The ribs, below the belly button, the tag of the pants, the sacrum, and the tailbone. Last one, hips come up. And then exhale to roll them back all the way down to the bottom. Awesome. Last thing on this side, we're going to bring both legs up to tabletop. Squeeze the legs together as tight as you can. Big breath in. And now reach those arms up towards the ceiling. Keep your arms as stable as you can. If you feel not connected through your core, drop those elbows back down. If there was a grape under your lower back, I want you to think of keeping it smushed. Lower one foot down towards the floor as slow as you can until it barely touches the floor. And then slowly lift that leg right back up. And then switch sides. Other leg. Lower it down as slow as you can. Let it touch the floor. And then bring it back up. Keep doing this. And as you do it, keep that grape, the imaginary grape that's under your tag of your pants, gently smushed down into the floor here. And as you work, if you're wanting to make the challenge a little bit harder, I want you to think of reaching your foot an inch further away from your glutes and then return it back up. And if you want even more of a challenge than that, reach in that same position but with your heel rather than your toes, and notice how that changes it once again a little harder. Keep the ribs heavy. Keep the belly button drawing down towards the floor. And keep the lower back, the tag of the pants, drawn into the mat. One more each leg. Wrapping those abdominals in with each exhale. And then resting your feet all the way down. Now from here, you can turn over to the other side. We want your head your right ear to be on the floor, your right hip to be on the floor, your head to be on your pillow or your blanket or resting on that right arm. But once you're lying down, knees stacked, hips stacked, feet in line with the back side of the body more so than the front. Lift your feet up as high as you can lift, and then bring your feet right back down. Both feet lift as high up as they can. and lower down. One more time, lift your feet up as high as you can and just hold. And now lift that top knee up and lower. Slow motion, we lift the knee, we lower the knee. Reminding yourself that if you were to squeeze those heels together as tight as you can and flex your feet, that you would get a little bit of a deeper burn. Every chance you get, just tuning into your inhales and exhales here. One more time, lift up and hold. Squeeze those heels together as tight as you can. Open the chest, open the hips, and rest all the way down. Top leg, reach it out and hold as if someone is pulling that leg out of your hip. From here, we start by just pointing and flexing that ankle a bit, and then flexing that foot, starting to sweep the leg forward slightly, and then back slightly, just about the width of your mat here. So a few inches forward and a few inches back. Keeping the swing to a minimum and your hips nice and stacked. Your chest open and your neck long. And when you're ready, drag that leg back to the space behind you. Keep your left foot flexed and your ankle strong. Lift 2 inches and lower. Lift, lift, lift. Keeping that leg as long as possible. Reaching up and back. Noticing the stability through your pelvis and your chest. Taking deep breaths here for 4, 3, chest is open, 2, and 1. Rest that leg all the way down. Both legs get to stay resting. Full breath in as you turn onto your back. Now when you're on your back, you can take that pillow and just tuck it away off to the side. Reach your arms up to the ceiling. Tuck your chin to your chest. Reach your arms straight up to the ceiling up above you. Look at your knees for a moment. And then inhale to lower back down. Exhaling, blowing out as you roll it up, feeling that pressure in the abdominal region. Arms reaching to the sky. And then slowly lower down. Let's find one more here, just rounding the spine into the floor, letting the ribs be heavy. And melt it back down. Drop the elbows to the floor. We're going to bring one leg to tabletop and then the other leg. Starting by feeling your tailbone anchored down into the floor, your elbows anchor down. And then remember that grape. That imaginary grape is getting gently smushed underneath the tag of your pants. Keep the grape being smushed. Keep both legs squeezing together. And start to gently lower those legs. Nice and slow, they lower down, and then you freeze. They're hovering. Exhale, bring those legs right back up. Now your focus is on keeping that connection. Inhale as the legs lower. You keep that imaginary grape getting gently smushed. You hold, exhale, and bring the legs back. Make it really hard. Squeeze the legs nice and slow. You lower. And then exhale, you return. Now, the slower you go, the harder it is. If you need more of a challenge, your legs are going a little slower, a little further. You're reaching with your heels instead of your toes, and you're pulling back in. If it feels like it's too much, you're going to go one leg at a time, and every time you come up, you're going to squeeze those inner thighs together. Wherever you are, it's an inhale as the leg goes away from you. Exhale to bring it back. Inhale as both legs maybe go away. and bring it back. But remembering when you're here, you rest when you need to. You keep going if you can, working with either double leg or single leg, but you work with and honor what's best for your body. 2 more breaths, keeping everything wrapping in towards the midline. And then resting both of your feet right back down. Once you have your feet rested down, we're going to be turning onto your stomach here. Lay on your belly. Once you're on your stomach, forearms are down underneath you. Think of stretching your abdomen out. Belly button wants to glue itself to the floor, and your chest wants to reach forward. And then lower yourself all the way down. Elbows tuck into your sides, palms face down to the floor, and your legs are out straight. They're about as wide as your mat. In this position, lift your chest so it's just hovering off of the floor. Your hands are lightweight, so that way you can lift one hand up off of the ground and then place it down, and then the other hand, and then place it down. Alternate one hand up, put it down, other hand up, put it down. Keeping your spine nice and strong. The back of your neck is long. Nose is pointing down towards the mat, just a few inches in front of your face. Deep breaths here, filling up the belly to keep the stability of the spine. We've got our last 3 breaths. Notice how your pelvis is nice and still. Fill up the torso. Place the hands under the chest, and now press with your hands. Move your hips back towards your heels, finding a child's pose here. You can rest the elbows if it's comfortable, or leave the arms reaching straight. 1 big breath in. When you're ready, start to build it back up. Great job today. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you again sometime soon. Take care.